Do you want to generate AI art on your own computer? And do you want to do it for free, but you have no idea where to start? Well, today I'm going to show you step by step how to install Stable Diffusion on your computer and get you up and running. And it'll only take a few minutes. So let's get into this. The first thing you want to do is open up your browser and go to github.com/automatic1111/stable-diffusion-webui. And don't worry about any of the links that I'm going to talk about here because they're going to be down in the video description or the first pinned comment. So if you want to follow along, the links will all be there for you. All right, so when you go to that first link, you'll come to this handy little page right here. And this is about 50 shades of confusing, but it's real simple if you know where to look. Get to this page, you scroll down until you reach the section that says installation and running. And then you scroll down a little bit further and you come down to automatic installation on Windows. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to install Python. Python is the language that runs the platform that we're going to be creating the images on. So what you do is you click on this very first link. What I do is I control click and that opens it up in another tab. And you're going to be downloading Python version 3.10.6. And the way you do that is, again, you scroll down to the bottom here and you're going to look for Windows Installer 64-bit. You're going to click on that and you're going to download that to a file on your computer. We're going to choose the A1111 folder I've already created on my system. We'll click on Save, and then you go into File Explorer. You go to the A1111 folder that you created, or whatever folder you want to put this in, and then you would double-click on the Python here, and it would run an installer. You can click on Install Now. I've already done this, but it's very easy to do. The one thing you want to make sure you do is click on this button now, or this checkbox down here. It says Add Python 3.10 to Path. That means that your computer can then access Python from whatever directory you're in. It's really easy to do, takes only a couple minutes. Once you've installed that, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the Automatic1111 page, and you're going to go to the next one here, which is Install Git. Now, what Git is Git is a system for downloading files from the internet for specific uses. And we'll get into that in just a moment. So what you want to do is, again, go over here to where it says Standalone Installer. Click on the 64-bit Git for Windows setup. Click on that. And you can then download that to your Automatic1111 folder. Just like that. You open up this, double-click on the installer, and it will bring you up to this window. Now, again, I've already installed all this, so I'll let you walk through the steps on installing it, but there's nothing you need to do except just click on Install. Very easy to do. And then the final step is you come down here and you see the section that's in gray that says Git clone, github.com, yada, yada, yada. You highlight this entire section here, hit Control-C to copy it. And what you're going to do is you open up Windows Explorer. You click up here in the path bar, and then you type in the letters CMD. That stands for command. Then you press enter. And that will pop up this friendly little window right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to paste in that information you just copied here. And then once it's pasted, you hit enter. And that will take a few moments to download. It just finished it. A bunch of files to this folder here. And it's going to put them all in this folder here called Stable Diffusion Stable-Diffusion-Web-UI. Now, I really don't want it to be in a separate folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to this folder. I'm going to select everything. And now I'm going to cut it. I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to paste it in my root Automatic1111 folder. That way I only have one step to go in. So for the final step, you go to your Windows Explorer, into your Automatic1111 folder, scroll all the way down to the bottom, find that WebUI user.bat file, double click that bad boy, and it will open up a command window. and then it's going to install a bunch of files, make sure you're all up to date on the latest version, yada, 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 make sure everything's happy and done. And once it's done with this, it's going to open up your brand new Automatic1111 web UI and allow you to start creating images. So let's give this a moment. It should take less than 5 minutes to do. So let's wait until this is done, and then I'll catch up with you. All right, so it's finished installing. And as you can see, it's opened up the web UI that we're going to be using to create our images. And very important, once it's done and it's opened this, do not close this window. It needs to have this in order to run properly. So you just reduce that and you can go about setting this up. It's already set the Stable Diffusion checkpoint up here to the V1.5 or 1-5. This is Stable Diffusion, even though it doesn't say Stable Diffusion. It's Stable Diffusion 1.5. Now, Stable Diffusion is a model, and you can download hundreds of different models for different use cases very easily and add them to this list. But the default one it installs is Stable Diffusion 1.5. We'll get into in another video how to install other models, what they're used for, how to use them, how to set them up, etc. But for right now, this is just in getting you up and running as quickly as possible. So you have your models chosen up here. Let's check if it works. We're going to type in dog in the very first prompt box. This first prompt box, by the way, is called the positive prompt. Basically, what you want in the image, you type in here. The one below it is for the negative prompts. What you don't want, you type in there. It's pretty simple. So once you type in dog, you click on the generate button, and down over here in this window on the right, look at that. You have now a picture of a dog. You have created your very first Stable Diffusion image using Automatic1111, and it's only taken a few moments to do so. But before we wrap this up, let me go over a few more of the basic features. There will be videos in the future that explain some of the more in-depth, more complex features of this, because you can do a lot with this program. But let's just get into the basics for right now. So over here under sampling method, you have what it says DPM++ 2M Keras, which is basically gobbledygook. This name is very strange, but what these are, what sampling methods are, is they consider them to be like filters for Instagram or something along those lines. It's a way of generating the image in a specific style. Now, if you click on this box, you'll see that it comes with a whole bunch of different ones for you to try. Ones that I try most often are the Euler A and the DPM++ 25A Keras. Now, I encourage you to go through and try a bunch of different ones of these just so you can get a feel for how these different things look. Some are better for some things, like Euler is better for developing pictures of people. Same with the DPM++ 25A Keras is also good for people. But if you're looking at creating things like landscapes, is better for landscapes in my opinion, but feel free to play with them, find ones you like, and go from there. All right, so the next thing that is important to know is sampling steps. What sampling steps are in simplicity form is they are how many times Stable Diffusion is going to tweak the image before it presents it to you. And if this number is too low, you can get a really muddy image. So for example, if I set this down to 1, and I say, I just want one sampling step, and I clicked on generate, I would get this muddy little mess right here. But you can also set up to 150. The problem with 150 is you're going to get some very weird results, and it's going to take a bit of time for it to actually do it. Thankfully, I've got a fairly fast computer here, so we can watch it in place. One of the things is if the number is too high, it can do some strange things. Like you can see our little dog friend here has 2 sets of ears. One up, one down. Not good. The general sweet spot for most models is between 20 and 45. I typically try and keep mine around 40. It gets me the better images in my opinion, but feel free again to play with them to your liking. As you can see, we have our little dog friend here, and he's looking pretty good. Things like high-res fix and refiner, for right now, in the basics, just getting your feet wet, you can feel free to ignore those. Then you have the width and the height. Now what the width and the height are, very simple, very self-explanatory. They're the width and the height of your image in pixels. Now 512 by 512 is the default. The most you want to go with a basic model, unless it says otherwise in the model descriptions, and we'll get to that in another video, and that's why I didn't want to do it in this particular one. You want to go 512 by 726 as your pretty much maximum for image size. And when you click that, it will create a nice little portrait image for you. Now, thing to keep in mind is this is pretty small. There are ways to increase the size, and we can go over that in a later video. But for now, if you wanted to download your picture, all you need to do is go over here to this little disk icon. And for those of you who aren't aware, that is a picture of a 3.5-inch floppy disk. Yes, we had those back in the Stone Age. Actually, my first floppy disks were 10-inch floppy disks. Anyway, to go back to this over here on the left, you have batch count and batch size. Now, batch count is basically how many sets, you can have it create multiple images at one time. So it's how many sets of images do you want to create? And then there's the batch size, which is how many images do you want in each batch? So if I did one batch count of 4 images and I clicked on generate, it would create 4 images for me in one batch. If I up that batch count to 2, it would create 2 batches of 4 images in one go. Very easy to do. And you can sit there and scroll through the images that are within that batch so you can get a better look at them. And then the final thing for you to pay attention to here before we wrap this up is CFG scale. Now the default for CFG scale is 7. CFG scale basically means how closely do you want the image generator to pay attention to your prompts. The higher the number, the more it pays attention. The general sweet spot for this is anywhere between 7 to 11. That's the typical range you want to play with in the beginning. As you get more comfortable with it, you can feel free to adjust it to your heart's content. I try and keep it right around 10 for me. That's my general number that I like to go with as a start. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you install Stable Diffusion on your computer with Automatic1111 as a default web UI. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Also, if there's something you want to know about how to create AI art, let me know. Put it down in the comments. Tell me so I know what kind of videos you guys are looking for in the future. As always, I wish you a fantastic day. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.